Hi, everyone.
Yo.
Welcome back to SOS. Today, we have a really, really important guest. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of her. You probably have not. Her name is Alissa Rosano. She is an actress. She's an activist. She's a podcast host.
I hear it's shit, though.
Yeah, we'll talk to her about her podcast later. But today, we're just going to dive straight in because I know you guys kind of are getting to know us over the past almost year. However, we haven't really expounded upon individual SOS moments that we have had. So today it's all about Alissa, and I'm going to grill her and get the secrets out of her, like the FBI. Okay.
Good luck.
So, Alissa, how would you describe the SOS moment we're going to be talking about?
All right. The SOS moment today that we're going to be talking about is basically my anxieties about being in my 30s and entering into my 30s and everything that society has told me and women about aging. And it's all negative.
Yeah.
For the most part.
It is. Well, and so I'm really curious about, I try to get to the root of things. And my first thought was like, do you remember any negative messaging as you were growing up from women around you in your life regarding aging? Was it talked about? How was it discussed?
Yeah, I mean, I love my mother. She is an amazing mother and raised me very, very well. But you know, it's hard. I think as just a human woman to just like completely hide insecurities, especially from your daughters that are watching your move and picking it up subconsciously. So it wasn't like she was like aging is bad. It was all about how to correct, basically. Like moisturizing every day was one of the things that she kind of hounded me and my sister to do. I mean, it's a good tip to do for sure. But I think, you know, you learn why, and it's because so your face is more elastic and it doesn't sag, right?
It's so interesting
or
because
more firm.
The things that like women, like when I think about if I had a daughter, what I would want to pass on to her, all these things come to my head, but you're not really like, oh, I'd want her to know this. I'd want to encourage this. But it's like there's a double side to everything that there's another meaning and message that you're also sending at the same times. Like her giving you advice about like your skin, it's good, it's healthy, but you're also picking up on like, oh, why? What happens if I don't? Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, besides that, I feel like, we talked about this in a previous episode, beauty is pain.
Yeah.
Like if you remember that episode that we did, true fans.
Real ones now.
Yeah, that was like, a motto growing up. But other than that, I feel like because I'm an actor, I've just noticed what it's like for older actresses.
Oh, interesting.
So that was like my own thing and that I've noticed myself because this is the field I want. This is what I'm passionate about. I have the fortunate blessing, I guess, whatever you want, who cares, of looking young already. So it's kind of like, and I've always gotten that comment, you know, like, you look so young. You're so young. You look so young. So when you're told that all the time, it's like a pressure of just like, well, I got to stay that way. Otherwise, what validation will I get in the future?
People notice.
People will notice.
What if people stop saying that to you?
Then there's nothing else to say.
So was women, your mom or women in your family said verbatim beauty is pain, like repeatedly growing up?
Hell yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. No matter what, like when it came to like getting rid of body hair or just, what other things? Just like makeup. If it was taking too long to do your makeup or it's just, you know, you have to buy a lot of makeup or whatever it is, that's the pain, right? It's just whatever you're sacrificing
inconvenience
in order. That's all under the umbrella of pain.
So my next question is kind of similar, but I was wondering if you have always been hyper conscious then, I guess you kind of answered it, of aging, or did it hit a new level when you were about to turn 30?
Yeah, I think I was aware of it, hyper aware, mid to late 20s.
Okay.
Which is just so sad. It's like, when right? You're older, you're going to look at when you're 25 and you'll be like, you want to smack the shit out of yourself for being like, oh, God, I'm old. Sex in the City. Remember that when Carrie's birthday and everybody's late for her at
I do. And she's sitting by herself at the table.
Exactly. And there's a girl celebrating her birthday. She blows out the candles and she goes, 25, fuck Fuck, I'm old.
Oh my God, I remember that.
That's my life.
And then they play like really sad music and she walks home alone with her cake or something. Like
that's how I feel. I feel like I'm gonna be a Carrie. I'm gonna feel that. I'm already starting that way, but like.
But also Carrie was the one that everyone wants to be. She's the star of the show.
Yeah, I know.
No, but it's interesting the things that we focus on. And then, because I would imagine, I kind of, like, what's the usual internal dialogue that goes on in your mind as you approach a birthday, or even if it's just like general, like when I'm watching that Sex and the City episode versus when you're watching it, everybody, what's internally going on in your head? Or like when you turned 30, I remember being like, aren't you excited? I was like, I had just turned 30 like 6 months, or I don't know, the previous year. And
no, 7 months prior, 6 months prior.
Yeah, something like that. And I remember I'm kept being like, maybe like it'll kick in. Are you excited for like a new decade? And like it got closer and closer and you're like, nope, not yet. Nope.
I know. I love, and I want to like a mosquito suck that positivity out of your system because I admire that so much because now I'm just like, fuck it. And I think, and I don't want to like throw like my fucking mother or my sister under the bus because they're amazing and it's not their fault they felt like this way, but I did hear it a lot. Like, because my sister's 10 years older, like this was what she did when she was 30, you know what I mean? And when I was 20, when I was 15 and she was 25, I heard it.
Really?
So now, so it's like, I heard it from her growing up and she is my, like, I always looked up to my sister. So it was kind of just, of course it was going to be ingrained in me to think that way. But I think birthdays now are like, I'm a Libra. I love celebrating, but at the end of the day, I'm like, don't say my age.
I'm curious how much of it is, obviously it's not your mom or your sister, it's society. They went through it too. Like all women are taught this. But then there's the added layer of you being in the entertainment industry and being an actress because I mean, acting is way different than music in the entertainment industry too. Like are you constantly asked your age when you audition or?
No, they don't ask your age ever. That's like a big faux pas. They don't care about your age. They want to see what your range is. That's what they ask.
Like she can play.
What can you play? What's your range? Like my headshot photographer yesterday. What's your range? Like they'll never ask you your age. It's like the biggest faux pas to ask an actor their age.
So it's more on, the anxiety is more about just visually how you look aging.
Yeah. It's
or is it about life in general?
It's like, I just don't want to be perceived. you know, it's like, it's like, don't perceive me, but then perceive me if it's positive. I don't know. It's a weird catch-22 because I don't want that pressure, but at the end of the day, if it's positive and if it gets me the job and I don't know if I'm young forever, great.
Yeah.
You know?
What would you say is, I know it's hard to pinpoint one thing, but what exactly it is that you fear about aging? Like, is it something, does it boil down to like wrinkles or does it boil down to like past regrets? Like what level does it go to?
It's so funny. I was talking about this with my friend Kelsey because we love this book called Outlander. It's an amazing series. And in that series, the two main characters, they start in their 20s and it's a big epic romance. But the second book, spoiler alert, jumps 20 years ahead. And then it goes on and on and on. Like the book, it's like ninth book just came out. The book will never end, but they're in their 50s now. And I stopped reading and she's like, why? And I'm like, I just don't care about them in their fucking 50s. And I'm like, and she's like, that's fucked up because I think it's amazing that like these people are still having epic romances and adventures in their 50s. And I'm like, I can rationalize that and be like, fuck yeah, but I don't know why in my head I'm like, well, they're not cool anymore. It's not sexy anymore. So I don't know. I think it's 100% something I have to work on.
There's a movie, shout out to Courtney, one of my best friends, because I think she was the one that recommended this. It's on Netflix, and gosh dang it, I can't even remember the title.
Is it the Jane Fonda?
Yes, yeah, Jane Fonda's in it.
It's the
it's a book club thing, or it's these women. I think at that
it's two women's names, and I'm terrible.
Oh no, Grace and Frankie, the show. I love that show, but it's a movie, and it's a really good cast, and it's like 4 or 5 women, and in the show they're in their, I think like 70s. They all have grown children with families of their own, and they're long retired, and some of them have been never married. There's one that's never married. There's one that has been divorced. There's one, they all have different stories, but they're all best friends, and they're in a book club together. They start reading 50 Shades of Grey, and then
That's funny.
like reawakens in them like the invigoration of life and living their life still. And they all have, it's like, it's beautiful, and it's all, but it sounds like you wouldn't like to watch it. And when I was watching it, I was like,
I'm getting anxiety listening to
but
it.
it
But
shows
it does sound beautiful.
that there's like they have full lives to live still.
Yeah.
But is that depressing to you or just uninteresting?
I don't know if those are the words. I would say maybe
Irrelevant?
no, not irrelevant, because I it's not like I don't want content like that. I want more content like that, because maybe I'll fucking get around to being like, well, watching it and believing it.
Yeah.
At some point.
Oh wait, does it feel fake to you?
Maybe.
Interesting.
I don't maybe put upon because it's not real. I'm fucked up. Am I fucked up?
No, you're not. No, honestly, if you are, we all are, because this is what society tells us. Like, I think,
It's just like no roles also. It's like Jane Fonda. And it's like the white women too. It's
Yeah,
like
it
white
is.
women are, it's like if there is a space for older women in Hollywood and like whatever, it's for white women. And that's still a step. I'm not like, and they're fucking talented and they deserve it. The Meryl Streeps, the Jane Fondas, the Lily Tomlins, they fucking deserve it.
yeah.
But it's also, I don't see a lot of older women that kind of look like me too.
Good news is, you know, if the white women are making it look okay, you know, we age like the Crypt Keeper. So anyone with more melanin is only going to look better.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm white passing anyway. It's not like I'm.
No, but does it seem like fantasy world because it's not fully represented?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not fully represented. And I feel like it's not fair because I'm not even giving like an Outlander, which is my favorite book, my favorite book series. I've never finished the fucking book series because in my head, I'm just like, they're in their 50s and they're still like, I mean, from what I'm told, like crazy, amazing love scenes that are happening. They're still fucking like crazy, which was an amazing part of the book. And also going on adventures. And I'm just like, but how can it be that way if they're in their 50s?
So it seems like a thing of like, not that it seems like a thing of disbelief. Like you don't actually think that exists, as opposed to being like, I hate this. Like you're not mad that people.
So funny. You're right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what? Now I'm thinking of it. I think that's why. And I mean, Ryan's is like another reason why he's obsessed. But like, why I love listening to stories of your parents.
Oh.
And it's just like, wait, what? They're in their 50s and they're doing this? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And then when it's not
amazing.
When it's not
that's real.
Yeah, because it's not in a movie format and it's not in a book, and it's not this glamorized. So interesting because
it's sexy and like you don't have to say it, but it is. There's a sexiness to your parents doing that
lifestyle and like living by your passions and your desires and it is.
Which makes sense that you are positive about aging and you're like, my birthday, I'm positive, because you've seen your parents age. I mean, I'm not saying my parents haven't gracefully,
but they or your mom was talking about it.
Yeah, it's an adventure thing too. Yeah, or just living your life as a young person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
not feeling like you have to be retired at home in front of a TV.
Right, like limitations on yourself that don't line up with your actual physical abilities.
Exactly,
because that seems to happen a lot where people are like, "Oh, I'm this age. Who do I think I am doing this?" And it's like, "Well, can you physically do this? Okay." Then you can do it.
Yeah, and it's ageism. It is. It's
and
ageism that I'm not fucking proud of, and I hate it.
But I have to say, because it's not this thing of like, I'm very lucky in how I was raised and my parents with that. But I have to make an effort. I have to make an effort to consistently see that. I actually have. I'll put it on the link for this episode. But there are 2 Instagrams that I follow that I started following in recent years, and one is called Art in Aging, and it's this woman's page, and it is these badass beautiful photos of women. I don't know if it's 40 and above or 50 and above, and like they're gorgeous, and it's like inspiring, and it's elegant, and it's fun, bright colors. It's all the things that they basically shut down, and it's real women. It's not like
Yeah.
from a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's but I make and then there's another one called and it's on Instagram. It's at and.bloom, and it's this one woman, and she has a whole thing about, you know, uplifting women 40 and up, taking pride in like aging and how it's a privilege, and those are all beautiful sentiments. It's not like every day of my life I'm like I'm great.
Right.
Like I'm
Yeah,
affected by it
yeah,
too.
yeah.
But I think that one of the things, I don't know, it's a thought for maybe for you, because like if entertainment, it is fake, first of all. So then when it feels extra fake, because you're like, it's a movie and this doesn't happen. And but
Right.
if it's like an Instagram, I don't know, maybe you'd want to follow them.
No,
and
it's
like
true. I think it does help when I have real life
Yeah.
examples of it.
and visually the same way that like, you know, the first time I saw Kardashian makeup, I was like, what the fuck? You look like a cartoon drawing of this is so absurd.
Yeah.
And then it became the norm, and it became the norm. All makeup artists are doing contouring. The more
Mm-hmm.
you see something, the more normalized it is for you, obviously. And
Right.
so that's my theory too, where I'm like, the more I like out or get a range of what I'm looking at,
Mm-hmm.
that's just a thought. If it's the idea of it feels unrealistic to you, maybe if you follow like real life
Yeah.
people.
I think what it also is too, I mean, like we're both creatives. I think the added pressure of being in my 30s or just being at any age and not accomplishing
Mm-hmm.
what you wanted to as
Yeah.
well. And now the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be 31 soon, and I'm and maybe I want to have a kid soon, and I'm not fucking ready. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, wait, where did the time go? Why haven't I accomplished what I wanted to before I got to this stage?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was younger, I was so obsessed with like 30 under 30, like
Yeah.
those lists. Like I loved, because I love pop culture and everything that has to do with like Hollywood and like the life and the lifestyle. And I was just like, to be that person. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to be the 30 under 30, like to accomplish all that and be on that list. And now I can't, you know, it's
I
like,
saw a thing recently. It was a whole like campaign to end the 30 under 30 and to start a thing that's like 40 over 40, because actually what people
yeah.
need to see is that your life isn't over when you're a third of the way through it. Like
so fucked up.
it's so messed up.
It's the most fucked up list.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And and you don't even have to be an actor or in the entertainment field to like feel that kind of pressure.
Right.
But especially like living in Los Angeles, knowing that and being raised with that,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna feel it. You're gonna be affected by it.
Yeah, of course.
And every birthday is gonna be something you have to.
Well, it
deal
also
with.
seems like, of course, and this is normal too, this is for everybody, circumstantial. If you have a really bad year, if you feel like you didn't do anything that year, or you made your goal you didn't hit, your birthday is not going to be as sweet, because it's a year marker and you're going to be like, oh my God, I didn't do the.
What do you mean? 2020 is amazing.
But like, that's another thing where, you know, as you progress through and like, you know, do some bucket list items each year, you know, you have a year where you're like, wow, I did a lot. It's circumstantial too.
Yeah.
So each birthday might feel
It's true.
different, you know?
Yeah, I think traveling has been like on our bucket list.
Mhm.
Like, I think the more I travel, it's like at least that's an accomplishment that I've accomplished.
Uh-huh.
But
I mean,
Yeah.
we're almost a year into this podcast.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I can rationalize it all, right?
Yeah.
I think it's like you said. I think if it's more normalized or if it's more represented
Yeah.
in different medias, like in
Especially
articles, the
for
40
women.
Yeah. Like 40 over 40
Mm-hmm.
articles, movies, anything that can show it, it'll be more normalized for me. But I think, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
journey. It's
Well, and
such a
even,
journey.
you know, of course we all know this, but the patriarchy is real, because there's even a thing. Why is a silver fox is a thing? The closest thing to it is a cougar, which means you're basically a cradle robber and you're dating guys in your 20s when
Dude,
there's no
yes.
equivalent to that for
There's
women.
No, it's so looked down upon.
And as men age, they are considered more distinguished.
Mhm.
They're accepted that they get sexier, they're more distinguished. There's all these things that are there for men to step into in society, and for women it becomes a thing of like just cover it up as much as you can, and then it becomes about who covered it up the best versus, oh, she's so like graceful in her age.
Right. It's so funny. Like I have a theory about that. Like the
Silver fox.
the courage, the courage, the cougar thing. Like I have this theory that like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why Hillary lost, but like that Trump supporter men didn't want to vote for her because they didn't want to admit that they fetishize her, and they want to be actually spanked by her and be told that they're a bad boy. I feel like that's the way a lot of men kind of secretly feel. It's like a nasty little fetish that they have to keep to themselves.
Interesting.
About like, you know, wanting an older woman, which I find so disgusting because it's like,
it's so weird.
What's so wrong with it? And the silver fox thing too, like I think that's a reason why it's on my mind, because I've been getting gray hair since I was a teenager. It's just genetics.
Yeah.
So I've just been always, as the years, since I was 16, 17.
Like pulling them out.
I've stopped now. I dye my hair regularly.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, well, Ryan helps. So. But yeah, I had to do it every month.
Yeah.
I get crazy grace.
But it's so funny because it's literally genetics though. It is genetics. Like nothing.
It doesn't matter, but it's a reminder.
Yeah,
it sure is a reminder of just like, I'm 17 looking at my gray hair being like, well, I guess that's it. Pack it up. Menopause is coming.
Pack it up. Pack it in.
My period was only came 5 years ago, and that's it for me.
That was my window. So just gonna go over here and dry up.
Seriously, gonna go fucking grow old and die.
So when you think, a lot of this is tied to, you know, external things, because that's how you notice that someone's aging, honestly. Yeah. But another way to notice that someone's aging is that they're wiser. They're more mature. Yeah. So it's those things that do you ever feel like, do you ever look at think about it like, wow, 10 years ago when you were 20, the person you were, and how much has changed, how much wisdom you have gained, how much experience you've gained, how much depth you've gained. And then in an exciting way, be like, oh my God, if that happened in 10 years, who am I going to be when I'm 40?
It's true.
Like, who's that woman?
No, I do love doing that because I and that's the thing too. I don't want to go back.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would like to see if I could have like a movie of just like, of the time when I was younger. Yeah. If I can watch it, I don't want to relive it.
Right.
I would fucking hate being 20 again. Like, it's just so scary and uncertain.
And you're still, I mean, you're always finding yourself, but you're like...
I mean, I'm 30 and it's scary and uncertain because we're in 2020 and this is where we're at.
We don't know anything.
But other than that, at least I've gained some insight and perspective along the way. At least I have accomplished things. I'm not going to like dismiss what I have. But I don't know. I think there's always just like that but.
Yeah.
There's always a but. You know what I mean? And
I know. And do you ever examine it to the point of like, how much of this is tied to how I think others, what it might look like to others versus myself? Because I scare myself sometimes when I have thoughts like that. And then I'm like, but what if nobody knew anything about me and I was just living? Would I care that this happened?
I feel like maybe, should people stop commenting on that? Is that like what the thing is?
On what age?
Yeah. Like, should we just tell people to stop telling them that they look younger?
Probably.
Or is that just a slippery slope of just like, well, then don't tell someone when they're pretty? Or
I know, but
I don't know.
What's the society, there's such a strong thing in society about like, honestly, you don't really hear people say that to men. Wow, no way. Well, I thought you were.
You know what's funny?
What?
Yesterday, because I got my headshots done yesterday, I had this makeup artist. He had a little bit of gray in his hair, but whatever. Looked in his 30s. We were getting to know each other. He was doing my hair makeup. And he started talking about how he moved to LA in the early 90s.
Whoa.
And I said, whoa. And he was like, I know. And I know. Like, yeah, I'm an oldie or whatever he said. And then we kept talking. And then he mentioned that he just had his 50th birthday. And I was like, what the fuck? You look like a baby boy. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I know. I try, or something like that. And it's funny.
This is interesting question. And
Yeah.
was he gay?
Yes.
I think that
Maybe that makes a
I think that
difference.
makes maybe this
Or
could
maybe
be totally unfair of me to say. In my perspective, I think that like, because I don't know, gay men and women seem to have a lot of the same like thoughts and societal understanding of like what is young or that youth is a thing. And I don't know. That's just a thought.
Maybe it's a similar burden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because they're told to be, or it's like I don't know.
Culturally more appealing to gay men to seem young than it is for straight men. I don't know.
I don't know. But also I think maybe, I don't know. Maybe they get it. Maybe it's more of they understand it more because, I don't want to generalize, but no, they know women more. I don't know. But like straight men, they're not going to say that because they know they're still going to fucking live their best life
Exactly.
in their 60s.
Yeah.
So it's like they have that privilege and we are here.
Just trying to hang on.
Just trying to fucking survive.
To maybe lift the mood, hopefully, I don't know, maybe not. What is a goal you have for yourself in this next decade in your 30s?
Okay. A goal I have is to, well, I mean, I don't want to be in the service industry anymore. Never have to go back to the service industry. To continue getting work in acting, to make a steady, healthy income with this podcast, to make a steady, healthy income doing voiceover work.
Yes.
To start a family, whatever that looks like for me and Ryan.
That's good.
Yeah.
See, doesn't that make you excited for this decade? I'm trying.
This is the funny thing too, and I forgot about this. When I was a teenager, I wanted to skip to my 30s so bad so I knew where I ended up. But I think now that I'm here, I'm like,
you're like, bitch.
What if I let myself down?
Oh.
So that's another thing.
But you also know how skewed perspective is when you're 16. You think 30 is a full grown adult, and then you get here and you're like, I'm a child still. Does anyone else know?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having this conversation. It's really important. It's something we all deal with.
Let us know too. DM us if you have the same sort of anxieties that I do about it.
Yeah, seriously. And the nonprofit charity for this one is Girl Up. There's no country in the world where women are equal. Let that sink in. Girls have tremendous, often untapped power to change the world, and Girl Up's leadership development programs have impacted 75,000 girls through 4,000 clubs in nearly 125 countries and all 50 U.S. states. They're inspiring a generation of girls to be a force for gender equality and social change. So to donate and learn more, you can go to girlup.org. And please follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the SOS Pod, YouTube, SOS with Molly and Alissa. And subscribe, rate, review. Here's to turning meltdowns into magic. That's it.